The NBA thought the San Antonio Spurs were rebuilding. They thought this was a patient reset, a slow climb, a few lottery years, development seasons. But something is happening in San Antonio that feels familiar, calculated, quiet, dangerous, because dynasties don't announce themselves, they assemble. And right now, 3 players are forming the core of what could become the next era of Spurs dominance. This isn't hype, this is trajectory, and if it continues, the league isn't ready. Let's break down the top 3 Spurs players leading the new dynasty. 1. Victor Wembanyama, the foundation of everything. We have to start here. Because without Victor Wembanyama, none of this conversation exists. He's not just the face of the franchise, he's the structural shift. At 7'4" with guard skills, elite rim protection, perimeter mobility, and rapidly evolving offensive instincts, Wembanyama isn't following a superstar timeline. He's accelerating it. Defensive gravity, he doesn't just block shots, he erases space. Guards hesitate on drives, wings double clutch midair, coaches alter playbooks just to account for him. That's defensive gravity. And defensive gravity builds championship floors. When your worst defensive possessions still end with a 74 disruptor near the rim, your margin for error expands dramatically. Dynasties begin with defensive anchors. Look back at Spurs history. The era of Tim Duncan was built on defensive consistency and interior dominance. Wembanyama isn't Duncan stylistically, but he provides something similar structurally: security. That's how winning cultures form. Offensive evolution here, where it gets scary. He's not just a rim runner. He's operating from the perimeter. He's pulling up from 3. He's attacking off the dribble. He's developing counter moves, and he's doing it before his body fully matures. When you combine elite rim protection with perimeter shot creation, you get something rare. A player who impacts every possession on both ends. That's MVP territory. And he's barely scratching the surface. The psychological factors: superstars don't just score, they intimidate. Wembanyama already creates psychological pressure. Opponents feel him even when he's not directly involved. That changes decision-making. And in playoff environments, psychological edges become separation. He's the foundation. But dynasties aren't built on foundations alone. They need structure around them. And that's where the next 2 names come in.
Have you gotten a chance to see Victor Wembanyama yet?
Yeah, of course. How can you miss him?
He's been raised to be a star. You know, he's been raised for this.
The ceiling, there is none. Ceiling is go. I mean, seriously. Go? Yes.
The way his skills, the way he can shoot the ball, the way he can move, he's extremely fast for his size, can block shots. He has the chance to be one of the best to ever play this game.
This is a weapon unlike anything this league has seen.
Look at how much bigger he is than Rudy Gobert.
That's the scariest thing that we've ever seen.
And a player who is going to dominate this league like maybe only a couple players have ever done.
With the first pick.
2. Stephon Castle, the two-way connector. The second pillar of the new era is Stephon Castle. And here's the thing, every dynasty has a player casual fans underestimate at first. A glue guy with star upside, a connector who stabilizes everything. Castle fits that blueprint perfectly. Defensive versatility wins championships. Castle brings positional size at the guard spot. He defends point guards, he switches onto wings, he absorbs contact, he anticipates passing lanes. In today's NBA, playoff basketball demands versatility. And Castle's ability to guard multiple positions without sacrificing playmaking gives the Spurs lineup flexibility. With Wembanyama protecting the rim behind him, Castle can pressure ball handlers aggressively. That synergy matters because great defense isn't isolated, it's layered. Castle provides the perimeter layer. Wembanyama provides the backline. That's a championship formula. Offensive intelligence: Castle doesn't force offense, he reads it. He cuts when defenders overhelp. He relocates when Wembanyama draws attention. He initiates sets without hijacking them. He can score, but he doesn't chase scoring, and that's crucial. Dynasties collapse when egos compete for control. Castle's game complements. It doesn't compete. That balance accelerates team chemistry. Long-term upside if his jumper stabilizes consistently. If his confidence grows within the system, you're not looking at a role player. You're looking at a two-way impact guard who thrives in postseason environments. Every championship core needs one. Castle might be that piece.
He was seen as UConn's promising but raw prospect, as the defensive tone setter who could fit next to any star, as the type of player who'd do the dirty work while someone else got the glory.
3. Keldon Johnson, the culture enforcer, the third pillar, is often overlooked. But dynasties need culture carriers, and that's where Keldon Johnson enters the conversation. He may not have the generational ceiling of Wembanyama. He may not have the defensive versatility of Castle, but he brings something equally important: edge. Relentless energy. Johnson plays with physicality and emotional intensity. He attacks the rim. He absorbs contact. He celebrates big plays. He injects life into the building. That matters in long seasons. That matters in playoff momentum swings. Dynasties aren't just tactical. They're emotional ecosystems, and Johnson provides fuel.
Every year, there's always a player that does some fantastic stuff for their team that goes completely overlooked. It could be because they're in a small market, it could be due to them not having the most aesthetically pleasing game, or any number of other reasons. And I'm not talking about the usual suspects that get brought up and people say, oh, this guy is so underrated, or why is nobody talking about this, when in reality, a lot of people are actually talking about it. No, I'm talking about a guy where basically nobody is talking about it.
Offensive pressure valve when defenses overload on Wembanyama. When Castle is initiating structure, Johnson can simply go get a bucket. Straight line drives, physical finishes. Catch and shoot threes. He's not flashy, he's forceful. And that force punishes soft defensive rotations. Experience and stability. Johnson has lived through rebuilding seasons. He's endured losses. He understands growth takes time. That veteran perspective inside a young core stabilizes expectations. He bridges eras, and that bridge is essential. The blueprint is familiar but upgraded. Look at Spurs history. The dynasty era featured a generational big, Duncan, a dynamic guard, Parker, a fearless wing, Ginobili. Now consider Wembanyama, generational big, modernized, Castle, versatile guard connector, Johnson, emotional engine. The archetypes echo history, but the skill sets are upgraded for today's NBA. More shooting, more switching, more positional fluidity. The Spurs aren't recreating the past, they're evolving it. The Western Conference problem here is where it becomes uncomfortable for the league. The West is stacked, but how many teams combine elite rim protection, switchable perimeter defense, transition speed, positional versatility, emotional intensity? San Antonio is assembling all 5. That's not just promising, that's threatening. Because once chemistry stabilizes and playoff experience accumulates, this won't look like a rebuild. It'll look like ascension. The timeline is moving faster than expected. Many expected a slow climb. Instead, the internal development curve is accelerating. Wembanyama's dominance flashes early. Castle's composure shows immediately. Johnson's consistency anchors the chaos. The rebuild isn't loud, it's structured, and structured growth sustains longer than explosive overhauls. Why this feels different: there's a calmness around this core. No desperation trades, no short-term gambles, no ego clashes, just progression. That's how dynasties form quietly. And by the time the league notices, it's often too late. What happens in 3 years? Project forward. Wembanyama entering MVP conversations annually. Castle making all-defensive teams. Johnson providing playoff toughness. Cap flexibility intact. Young role players evolving. Now you're not discussing potential, you're discussing contender status. And sustained contender status builds pressure on the entire conference. The final warning: the Spurs have done this before. They draft well, they develop patiently, they prioritize culture. They avoid panic, and when the pieces align, they don't just win, they dominate eras. Victor Wembanyama is the generational centerpiece. Stephon Castle is the intelligent stabilizer. Keldon Johnson is the emotional backbone. Together, they represent more than talent, they represent alignment. And alignment is the most dangerous force in professional sports. Because when talent, system, and culture sync, you don't get a playoff run, you get a dynasty. The NBA might think San Antonio is still rebuilding. But under the surface, the pillars are already standing. And once the league fully realizes what's forming, it may already be too late. The Spurs aren't chasing the future, they're building it. Quietly, strategically, inevitably,